Top Companies for Executive Women Celebration. Let me hear a big cheer. Top Companies 2012.
Thank you all for being here. Welcome to what is really our favorite day of the year, because we come here in order to celebrate you. Your successes for women really matter. It is now our very great pleasure to welcome to the stage our 2012 NAFE Top Companies for Executive Women winners.
Please welcome Erika Irish Brown from Bank of America. Eric believes 40 years ago, women largely had to choose between having a family or successful corporate career. Today, not only can we have both, but also an employer with resources and programs to support us.
Thank you. It's really quite an honor to accept this award on behalf of Bank of America and on behalf of our CEO, Brian Moynihan, who also serves as chair of our Global Diversity and Inclusion Council. Awards like this are both personally and professionally rewarding to me. Personally, as a working mother of 3 boys, I might add, so they're quite challenging. To work for a company that enables me to have a flexible work arrangement, provides me access to backup childcare, and also supports a local charity that's important to me is really worth the recognition. As a D&I professional, I'm also proud to do this work and to try to make things better for women at our company. So with that, I thank you. NAFE is a very important partner to us, and we're so happy to be here today. Thank you. I think there have been 3 key success factors since I've joined Bank of America. I think the first is that there's a lot of senior management support for what I do at the bank. Brian Moynihan, our CEO, is also the chair of our Global Diversity and Inclusion Council, so he really supports the D&I work that we do throughout the organization. I also think that how I was onboarded and the great deal of care that went into my onboarding plan was very helpful. Within my first 60 days at the bank, I was very aware of who my key stakeholders were, what they expected from me, and I had a good understanding of the culture of the bank and how to get things done. So I think that really helped me to hit the ground running. Finally, I think in my first year at the bank, I also was able to identify an executive sponsor. And he's a senior executive in HR, and he's provided me with great guidance and counsel for my 2.5 years now at the bank. Well, Bank of America has a strong leadership development culture, and we have programs that actually are externally facing as well as for its internal employees. And there's really strong female representation within our broader leadership development programs. And one of the things that the D&I team does is ensure that there's a diverse pool of individuals going through all of our development programs. One of the programs, though, that I'm very proud of is our Women's Leadership Program. It's a joint venture between the bank and my alma mater, Columbia Business School. And it's focused on a diverse group of high-performing women who are budding executives, and it really develops them and gives them the tools to succeed so that they're really prepared when executive opportunities present themselves. I've had both mentors and sponsors, and over my 20-plus year career, there are people that have served as both. And I think you're talking about relationships. So when you say, how do you find a sponsor, right? It's about building relationships with people. And relationships are built over time. They're based on trust, and that's something that I think people need to realize. Sometimes people are very transactional around looking for a sponsor or a mentor, and it's really a longer-term proposition. And you know, of course, you have to be a strong performer, right? You want to have that credibility and be seen as a leader or a future leader within your organization. I think that's important if you want to expect for somebody to want to sponsor you. You know, I do believe in sponsorship programs. Some people say, oh, you can't be assigned a sponsor. I don't think that's true. I think that you can always be assigned a sponsor. Now, what you do with that assignment, how you develop it, that's on you. But if it's important for you to have a sponsor, then you make that investment and build that relationship over time. So I do think they're important. I think they can really help you as they sit around the leadership table and decisions are made about the fate of your career. You know, and I think that it's something that you really have to invest in. I think landing a stretch assignment, you know, again, first you have to be really good at what you do, and I think you also have to be willing to raise your hand. You know, very often stretch assignments are asked for and not necessarily freely given, especially when it comes to women and people of color. So when you ask for the assignment, you're also taking a risk. So you have to be prepared to take on risk, potentially fail or potentially succeed. So a lot of times we women are not risk takers, but we all understand that relationship between risk and reward, and the higher the risk, potentially greater the reward. I also think that there's no shame in potentially stumbling as you take on stretch assignments. And then the real question is, how well do you recover? If you've gotten feedback, how do you use it and turn it around? And you actually can continue your career trajectory by showing that you're someone who can take constructive feedback, turn it around and succeed and really run with the ball. You know, so for me, when I think about the biggest stretch in my career, it actually was making the transition from being an investment banker to moving into HR and becoming a diversity and inclusion professional. It's a little different than probably what most people would answer in terms of a stretch assignment, but for me, morphing from having been on the trading floor in high yield capital markets to HR and having to redesign how I influence people, right, what my position is around execution and even how I was evaluated, right, a P&L versus other things within the D&I world. That was really a challenge, and it was a risk, but it's the best risk I've ever taken. I feel like I'm in the most rewarding role I've ever had.